Girls do this when they want to seduce you. No one talks about this. When a woman wants to seduce you, especially one you're not with yet, she won't do it in the ways you expect. No obvious signals, no dramatic flirting, no lingerie level theatrics. She'll do it in ways that slip beneath your radar. Why? Because real seduction, the kind that gets her heart racing and her ego invested, is quiet, strategic, sometimes even subconscious. It's less about making a move and more about shifting the emotional gravity until you lean in. The problem? Most men miss it completely. You assume she's being friendly or comfortable or just cool like that, but she's not. She's setting a stage, giving you micro openings that feel innocent but are actually loaded with sexual and emotional cues. You want to know if she's trying to seduce you? Forget the cliches. Forget what she's doing with her hair or how close she's sitting. Look deeper. And if you enjoy understanding the hidden side of attraction, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. It helps the channel grow, and it keeps powerful insights like this coming your way. Here are 11 things women do to seduce you, and men almost never realize what's actually happening. 1. She casually hands you an anti-flex, a subtle personal flaw or insecurity, and watches how you react to vulnerability before escalating closeness. This isn't a sob story. It's not some trauma dump designed to get sympathy. It's far more calculated than that. Let's say you're talking, and she suddenly says something like, "Honestly, I'm super awkward in the mornings. It takes me like an hour to be human." Or, "I have the worst taste in music. I'll warn you now." It's framed lightly. She says it with a laugh. But what she's really doing is testing how safe you are with her less curated self. Why does this matter? Because women rarely move into seduction mode with a man who hasn't passed the emotional safety test. If she's going to get close physically, emotionally, or both, she wants to know if you're the type to stay grounded when she stops performing. And here's the kicker. If you ignore the moment or brush past it, nothing happens. But if you lean in, stay present, maybe even echo with your own mini anti-flex. "I'm pretty much useless before 10 art I am up to makes you pass." She now sees you as someone who doesn't flinch when the mask slips. That's not just trust, that's attraction with depth. 2, she introduces background intimacy, letting you into the edges of her unfiltered routine. A messy room, tired voice notes to lower your defenses. Most men don't realize how much control women exert over how they're perceived. Every outfit, tone, angle curated. So when a woman starts pulling back the curtain, it's never by accident. You FaceTime her at night, and she doesn't rush to fix her hair or find better lighting. She sends a voice note when she's half asleep and doesn't edit it 3 times. You catch a glimpse of her apartment, and she says, "Excuse the chaos," without apologizing or pretending. It's usually spotless. This isn't laziness. This is deliberate lowering of performance mode. And it does something sneaky to you. It relaxes your guard. It creates a sense of realness, like you're being let into the version of her most people never get to see. Why? Because the fantasy isn't always about being flawless. It's about being seen without needing to be perfect. When she lets that unfiltered version show, she's seducing you with intimacy, not allure. And here's what most guys miss. That casual, unguarded vibe she's letting you witness, it's a form of sexual trust. If you lean into it without making it weird or commenting on it too much, she'll open up even further emotionally and physically. 3, she temporarily breaks her social alignment, acting slightly out of character in front of others when you're around, just to register a shift only you will notice. Let's say she's normally calm, sarcastic, and socially sharp around your mutual friends. But when you walk into the room, she suddenly gets a little sillier, warmer, more reactive. Not loud, not obvious, just offbeat enough for you to catch it. This isn't her being inconsistent. It's her slipping into a version of herself that only exists around you and hoping you notice the shift. Here's what most men do when this happens. Nothing. They assume it's a mood swing or coincidence. But what she's doing is incredibly intentional. She's fracturing the group dynamic just slightly. Not enough for anyone else to react, but enough that you feel singled out. And that "you bring out a different side of me" effect, that's seductive. That makes your presence feel special. And the second you mirror it by giving her your own deviation from the usual social script, that's when the chemistry goes nuclear. This is her quietly asking, Do you see me differently? And waiting to see if you show that you do. 4, she lets her curiosity slow burn you, asking deeply specific questions, then letting them hang without trying to fill the silence. There's a difference between small talk and targeted curiosity. She's not just asking about your weekend or your favorite movie. She's asking, what kind of person makes you nervous? Or one, or do you ever feel like you're pretending too much? And then she just lets the moment sit. No rush, no rescue, just silence while she watches how you metabolize the intimacy. This is surgical. She's creating emotional stillness around you on purpose to see if you can hold it, or if you fidget, deflect, or joke your way out of it. Most men aren't trained to sit inside those kinds of pauses. It's uncomfortable, vulnerable. You're used to fast paced banter and surface level charm, but she's not playing that game. She's dialing down the speed to test your emotional gravity because if she's going to seduce you, not just sleep with you, but seduce you, she needs to know if you can match the stillness required for actual connection. If you pass, she doesn't need to escalate. She'll just keep pulling you into deeper waters until the tension is unbearable. 5, she uses misplacement cues, leaving behind small objects, lip balm, scarf, hair tie, to quietly mark space in your world without directly claiming you. Here's where it gets subtle. She's been over once or twice, nothing serious, but when she leaves, you find her hair tie on your nightstand, or her chapstick in your cup holder, or one of her earrings just barely poking out from under your couch. It's never announced, never acknowledged. You might think it's forgetfulness. It's not. It's a soft form of territorial signaling, something almost primal. She's not asking for commitment. She's just placing a flag in your world quietly, seductively. Because that misplaced item, you'll see it when she's not there. You'll touch it, move it, maybe even smell it, and just like that, she's in your head again. It's a form of lingering presence. And she knows what she's doing. She's not waiting for you to act on it. She's waiting for it to change your emotional landscape just enough to miss her more than you meant to. And once that happens, she knows you're now seducing yourself on her behalf. 6, she mirrors your restraint, not your eagerness, dialing back her own flirty behavior only after you do to signal shared, unspoken pacing. Most guys think seduction is about escalation, more attention, more touch, more compliments. But high level seduction is often about mirroring the slowdown. Let's say you've pulled back a little, not chasing, not over investing, just observing. And instead of panicking or ramping up her energy to win you over, she subtly calibrates. She matches your energy beat for beat, becoming just as still, just as measured. This isn't distance, it's pacing. She's telling you without saying it, I see where you are and I'm not going to chase you, but I'm still here. That restraint is seductive because it respects your position without abandoning the tension. It's her way of saying, I'm not going anywhere, but I'm also not going to make it easy. And for a man who recognizes it, that balance of presence without pressure can be absolutely magnetic. 7, she creates friction with your boundaries, lightly pushing against a value or opinion to see if your spine shows up, not just your charm. A lot of guys mistake seduction for agreement. They think if a woman likes them, she'll smile, nod, and echo everything they say. But that's not how higher level attraction works. When a woman is trying to seduce you, truly pull you in, she'll start testing your architecture. She'll push just a little, not enough to start a fight, but just enough to see how you handle contrast. Maybe you say something like, I don't really enjoy clubs. And she replies, that's such an old man thing to say, with a smirk. She's not arguing. She's throwing a jab, watching for your reaction. Or maybe you make a strong point about discipline or purpose, and she counters with something playfully chaotic like, so you're no fun at all. This is where most guys try to explain themselves or backpedal. Wrong move. She's not looking for agreement. She's looking for structure, to feel that you won't fold just because she introduces a little conflict. That edge, that's seductive. Because if you can hold your frame even with warmth, if you don't collapse or overcorrect, she feels safer around you, not threatened. Her attraction deepens because you're not afraid of tension. In fact, you thrive in it. And now she knows if she gets emotionally naked, you won't flinch. If things get real, you won't retreat. That's not charm, that's gravity. And that's what pulls her in. 10, she time tests your attention span, telling long, winding stories with emotional peaks to see if you lean in or zone out. This is the opposite of flirting. It's narrative seduction. She doesn't bat her eyelashes or ask how your day was. She tells a full meandering story about something random, a road trip gone wrong, a childhood birthday disaster, a dream she had last week, and she watches how you track it. She's not looking for feedback. She's looking for resonance. Can you follow the emotional rhythm? Do you get when to laugh, when to pause, when to ask a question? Do you interrupt, drift, or stay present the entire time? To her, this is everything. Because seduction isn't just physical, it's intentional. If you can't stay with her through a complex, emotionally loaded story, she doubts you'll be able to track her during intimacy, conflict, or stress. But if you lock in, not in a performative way, but in a grounded, unfazed, I'm here way, she sees that. And it flips a switch because now she's not seducing someone with attention deficit tendencies. She's seducing someone who actually knows how to hold her. That story was never about the road trip. That was a depth filter. And you passed. 11. She introduces mild erotic ambiguity, not through touch, but through metaphors, half finished thoughts, or language that toes the edge of innuendo. You're not going to hear her say, I want you, but you might hear her say, don't tempt me, or you have no idea what you're doing, do you? And then silence. No clarification. No explanation. She drops the line, looks away, moves on, as if she didn't just set your nervous system on fire. That's verbal seduction, and it's one of the oldest moves in the game. Women who truly know how to seduce don't lean into overt signals. They use language that disrupts your emotional baseline, then offer no closure. That gap between what she might have meant and what she won't say, that's where your imagination lights up. And men almost always miss it. They laugh or ignore it or try to clarify. Wrong move. She wants to see if you can sit inside the ambiguity, if you can match the tension without deflating it, if you can volley that same energy back, not by explaining, but by mirroring. Maybe you say, you sure about that? And then say nothing else. Now you're in her space. Now you've crossed into the real game. And if she smiles but doesn't answer, that's not rejection. That's escalation. 8. She tells you how others flirt with her, not to brag, but to check if you'll subtly stake your claim or remain neutral. Here's a move most men miss completely. She casually drops a line like, you wouldn't believe how creepy my Uber driver was last night. Or, my barista literally winked at me this morning. It sounds harmless, like she's just venting, but watch the timing. She brings this up after you've been vibing, after tension has already been introduced, and now she wants to see something. Do you react? Do you stay cool? Do you look territorial even for a second? It's not that she wants you to get jealous. She's watching for subtle claim energy. Do your eyes shift? Do you make a joke like, he better relax? Do you say nothing, but your body language tightens for half a second? Because in her mind, that confirms something. You see her as desirable. You're not neutral. And when other men are around her, your instinct isn't apathy. It's attention. This isn't about control, it's about chemistry verification. If you brush it off too lightly, she reads it as disinterest. If you overreact, she sees insecurity. But if you respond with calm ownership, a flicker of noted, she's mine, but doesn't know it yet, and she feels it deep. And that's when seduction accelerates. 9, she lets you witness her in liminal states, the in-between moments where her guard is down, but her seduction is strategic. Not fully made up, not fully undone, not high energy, not totally relaxed. These are her in-between versions. And when she lets you see them, it's not a mistake. Maybe you catch her wiping off makeup with a shirt sleeve while laughing about her day. Or she opens the door still mid-rant from a phone call, raw and real and unfiltered. Or you notice she hasn't fixed her voice before answering your late-night text. It's sleepy, low, almost sultry by accident. Except it's not an accident. She's showing you a state that most people don't get access to. That weird intersection of vulnerability, reality, and intimacy. She knows how that lands. It bypasses your usual mental filters. It's seductive precisely because it feels unplanned, unscripted. But the truth, it's a controlled drop, a low-key invitation. She's saying, here's a glimpse of what I'm like when the world isn't watching. Can you handle it? And if you treat that moment with presence, not as something to analyze or escalate, but to witness, she remembers. She locks that in. You just became someone she can dissolve around. And that's when attraction turns into something much more dangerous longing.